Okay, so this is a project I've just been working on, which is it kind of interestingly started out as doing some handprints, and then I realized it'd be really nice to have interchangeable clock faces. So the reason this has got a shiny Perspex layer, as you can see here, is actually because sandwiched in between it are all these other different paintings that me and my son did. And what it means is that if we get bored, we basically unscrew this, take the hands off, and can put a different one on, and then screw it back down, and it'll be kind of nice on the wall. But in case you haven't guessed already, this sort of eerie greeny yellow colour is because it glows in the dark, as demonstrated. So that isn't the bit that I think is kind of interesting, because in truth, this whole project started about me wanting to make a clock out of a problem. Because my son, basically, apart from wanting something nice to look at when he goes to bed, like little glow-in-the-dark rockets going around like this, he basically suffers from this, thing which I think a lot of parents relate to, is that you want them to lie in and you don't want to set an alarm clock, because if they sleep through, it's really nice. And actually, if you put an alarm clock, they wake up really, really cranky and it annoys the heck out of them. Or at least it does for my child. So I wanted to have almost like a soft wake up, that when he wakes up, he would be able to realise that it is the right time to get out of bed. And so the tricky thing is, how do you do that without sound? And how do you do that when your son is a toddler, 3-year-old, and doesn't know numbers? So you can't say to him, it's time to get up at 7 o'clock. But what you can do is we can move this slider, and what it does is as it gets closer to this hand, it lights up. So at the minute, this would be setting it for, 10 past 6 or whatever. But let's say I set this to around 7. What it would mean is that as time went forward, I'll do this in the dark, as time goes forward, it would carry on and then light up. And then what's great is that he would basically be able to know that it's okay to say, can I get up now and get out of bed, even if it's dark in his room. So what I really love about this is that, of course, if he's had a really, really hectic day the day before, we don't really care. We just let him sleep through rather than wake him up and have him cranky. And then, of course, after a certain point, this goes round and basically switches itself off. And the way it does this is kind of nifty, because it's got a coin cell battery under here. And what's under here is a thing called a reed switch, which is basically a glass tube with 2 bits of metal next to each other. And then as a magnet, which is placed, you can just see it here, just underneath the planet, as that sweeps over the reed switch, it basically pulls the switch together and switches the circuit on, which is why it comes on whenever it goes near that planet of the hour hand. So of course this isn't down to the minute, although if you wanted, you could create a circuit which involved the minute hand and the hour hand, but frankly, for a toddler, I didn't really see them needing that precision. But either way, I thought this was a really nice project. On the surface level, you've got a really nice way to put different posters, different pictures, different creations underneath a nice replaceable platen. And of course, these glow-in-the-dark letters are on the bit of plastic, not the pictures, so they're effectively reusable. But also, it's sort of an interesting alternative to doing a conventional alarm clock for a kid. And my hope is that he starts to appreciate the sevenness of the 7 o'clock by its shape, because it's related to the thing that lights up. So I think in many ways, a lot of the difficulty I think with educating kids is that they don't really learn unless there's a meaning. So at the minute, these lights are going to signify waking up time as being okay, but I hope in time he might realise it's 7, and then we can get on to discussions about what the minute hand means, and of course the rocket. So anyway, welcome to any suggestions from other parents. This is definitely version 1.0 with this, and of course my first kid, so I'm winging it, but hope it's useful and hope it's fun and you enjoy making it. Links in the bottom. Thanks a lot. Bye.